Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think I can see names: Kara, Alan, Iris, Tavia, Vicky, and Mark, Joey, Alan, Aubrey, Tracy, Nora, Eva, Ivy, Christine, and Hillary. Hello. Please type yes if you can hear me. Otherwise, I should check with my microphone. Okay. Well, thank you, Alan. There is no trouble with the microphone this afternoon. If you have problem with my internet, please notify me. So that's one big support. Well, this week we have something planned. I don't know how this is going to work out, but we will try to practice or try to experiment. Well, so this afternoon we will be working with opinion essays. We will be working with opinion essays. Maybe we will try to practice some language knowledge. That's what I prefer, instead of saying grammar elements. So what we have relative classes using articles and noun phrases, and some kind of peer group corrective feedback. That's what I planned, but we will try this maybe sooner or later. Well, having gone through this opinion essays task 2, something, if you get a task 2 that is based on opinion essays, I guarantee you can perform very well. 1 second. Well, all right, I'm sorry about that noisy. So as far as my opinion, as far as my understanding, opinion essays are easier than any other essays. That's what I can understand. But there is some relevance from last week lesson and this week lesson. It's all about opinion essay. Any opinion essay, it's a combination of argument and opinion, or it's a kind of a discussion and opinion. Either you just prefer writing with the opinion, with opinion you should add another kind of a strategy or a way of writing, either discussion or argument. So that's what I believe. And in opinion essays, what I can tell you why that's pretty easy. There are lots of what we call it connectors. For example, for instance, so and so, what's more, further. So such such connectors are really, really helpful to help you to write logically, because your opinion may randomly that recollect. I mean, your opinion may be random, but only these connectors, what we call it, cohesion and coherence, play a key role that you can do very well with opinion essay. I think we have got 25 students, supposed to be 38 or 48. But well, let's get back. Maybe I can share you something there, which can help you before we get started. What we call the model essay. It's this is a model essay, as far as my understanding, sounds easier, and that reaches 294 words, but required only minimum 250. And what I can see, the what's more, on the other hand, as a result, personally, in other words, firstly, so these keywords, these words are really, really helpful when you write opinion essay, or generally, in general, task 2 essays. So this was the one thing I was talking about, opinion, argument. So, but I will share with you, just read maybe more than once and try to identify what number of opinions are you able to collect, and what number of arguments do you happen to find it. So that one thing, this is just a sample, then we will get started. Right. So if possible, you can as you read through, try to write answers and then keep it with you. 3 verbs connected with the crime and punishment. Another word for prisoners, a word to describe a room in a prison, a word to describe people who steal from shops. You know, people who steal from shops, it's easy to guess shoplifters, right? Right. I'll let you to enjoy reading this more or less for about 5 minutes, and then we will get started with this. Right. So you can join us. In the meantime, you can read. It's a kind of a waiting time. We do not want to waste it. Therefore, we keep it 1, 2, 3, 5. So 5 minutes we are going to wait, and you are going to read. I hope in 5 minutes we will be expecting, I mean, we will be able to see more a number of students. Are you able to view this? Yes. So our classes, it's all about learning by doing, because writing and mathematics, I'm sorry, learning to write and learning mathematics are equal. So as long as we work together, we should be able to progress. Then simply listening, maybe a listening class is okay. I mean, lecture class is okay if there is a listening skills exam, or what we call it, a speaking skills classes. But since it's a writing classes, I needed you to read and then think, then perform. But no matter how far you are correct or incorrect. That doesn't matter. Okay, we've got 3 minutes. So let me help you to read along. These days, every time you turn on the television or flick through the pages of newspaper, you learn about victims of crime, but what is the most effective method of dealing with this rising crime rate in our society? Some people believe the best way to punish criminals is sentence them to time in prison. I completely disagree with this idea. And in this essay, I will support my opinion with examples. Firstly, life in jail is far too comfortable for prisoners. For example, many inmates have access to luxuries such as televisions, computers, sports facilities, and so on. In other words, spending time behind bars is more like being in a holiday camp. If prison is going to act as a deterrent, then I believe it needs to be considerably tougher. Another reason why I disagree with prison as a punishment is that a large number of prisoners are not actually a danger to society. Take shoplifters as an example. They are often locked up in the same cells as murderers, rapists, violent criminals. I strongly believe that this is a serious waste of taxpayers' money. What's more, petty criminals may even learn how to commit more serious crimes when they are inside. On the other hand, there is an argument that prison can help to rehabilitate offenders. Many inmates have the opportunity to study while they are doing time. As a result, many never re-offend when they are released. In conclusion, although it is a common belief that prison is the best way to punish criminals, I believe it is too soft and that it is not necessary in the majority of cases. Personally, I think prison should be the last option when all else has failed. So I think we have tried to read. How many? We have got 11 students are readily available. Of the 31, there are 12 are ready to practice. See, well, as far as my understanding, writing comes when you are able to think constantly. If you are capable of thinking constantly, you may have a number of information running through your mind, which brings you to write well enough. And there is a myth or an assumption with people. I didn't perform well because my English is poor. My vocabulary skills are not a range of vocabulary. And as some come up with an idea, come up with an idea, claim that I'm not sure how I can understand the grammar. I though I can understand the grammar, but I'm not able to write or translate my ideas into English. So these are certain claims or some reasons students generally who came up with when they fail in IELTS exam. But let me tell you, there are two secrets to behind this writing. Writing is a process. It's like a habit. Every day you brush your teeth. Similarly, you need a flow or practice for a few minutes at least. Only then you will have this logical connection. That's one thing important. And the other one, you do need a reading habit, because a reading habit will help your mental will help your mental picture to copy the writing style, and indirectly you will be able to pick up new words. You don't have to prepare separately. As soon as you, I mean, continuously, if you read every single day, as slow as you can acquire vocabulary, English vocabulary, and that's enough. So what matters is, information is language. If you have more information either in Chinese or in English, you should be able to write and you should be able to speak. That's what I can tell you from my experience. So what matters in here, please focus on the information. Create a habit of reading and create a habit of maybe what we call it journal writing. If you have a diary with you, write every single day what happened to you, or what you dreamed about, or what you thought about. Write everything in English. It's a kind of a practice that you can perform well with opinion essays. So what we call it reflective writing. That's, if you could keep this for about 3 months, if you have a notebook, and for example, when you take shower, you may be constantly thinking, and when you come back, before you leave the dormitory, you can write a few sentences and then go. And from your dormitory, from your classroom to the dormitory, you could be walking for about 4 or 5 minutes alone, if not with people. Come back after lunch, write a few lines, just randomly. What I mean, your information is your language. It is not grammar, it is not your pronunciation, it is not at all your fluency. It is fluency and language all we consider this as information. Cambridge, as an examiner, in my understanding, what I see, what number of information you have come up with. Either information is repeated, or you have more number of information but lack of coherence. There's a lack of logical connections or not. It is not about repeated vocabulary, it is about repeated information. Makes the examiner, okay, you have come up with a limited range of vocabulary. So it's not. It's all about repetition of your information. That's it. And if you have more number of information, you will naturally connect sentences relevant and appropriate to reach a conclusion. So that's the key thing. Two things you should have to maintain: reading habit as slow as you can. Do not rush. Read 3 times any excerpt, anything, anything that you love reading. That's what it matters. You should feel it. Even reading lyrics from a song is fine. And then think about what you have read. Your constant thinking will help you to recall the information. Once you go back to the dormitory, close your eyes, look, close your eyes, see your mental picture, what number of information you can recollect, write them down on a daily basis. This is a strategy to crack IELTS task 2 writing, but Cambridge will not tell you this. Cambridge promote you or scare you, maybe to bring you some fear in your mind, talking about vocabulary, talking about grammar, talking about coherence and pronunciation. It's not. Literally, they are not looking at this. They are doing kind of a business to bring fear among the students or candidates. When they have fear, they will fail in the exam. Therefore, you will make another 3,000 yuan. So, the reality in IELTS, what number of information are you familiar with the topic? That's it. So with this, we will get started practicing some basics. Where we have noun phrases and articles and relative classes. When you have information, you can connect all these. Let me check what number of candidates have joined. There are 16 so far. We waited 20 minutes. It's good to practice now. Okay, so this is it. When I happen to analyze or evaluate number of opinion essays, what we see something in common: noun phrases, relative classes, articles. These are the key things. All I need you to familiar with these. I mean, you should know the basics of it. You don't have to be proficient, but you should be able to evaluate when you happen to read an essay. Just give me a second. And then let me help you. Let me take you to a model essay. Is this? I think you have a copy of this, and we have practiced enough. So I'm sorry about this. It's okay. So this is one of the model essay. When I happened to evaluate this last night, and what I identified this. These are the words, and apart from this, what we find two things. One is what we call it opinion, and the other one is argument. Last week we were checking with what is an argument and what is an argumentative writing. That's what we were checking. We have introduced a strategy that to bring some logical connection to your information. What I call it language. Language is nothing but information. So there are six, maybe like this. Yes, there are six elements. If you are familiar and apply them in your everyday situation, you will be able to write any opinion essay or any academic essay, not only writing essays but also speaking. You can make it. So help yourself familiarizing six elements of an argument. That's what the strategy 1, Toolman model of argumentation, and strategy 2, what number of information are you familiar with? So having these two with in everyday practice, that's what I mean. In everyday practice, you go and search for information and you apply the information with the six elements. If you can make it, or if you can identify in any text or anyone who speaks to you, then that's it. The habit will help you to draft minimum 250 words, way easier. Now let's check, since now we are familiar with this, what's more, on the other hand, firstly, in other words, as a result, personally, because it's easy, anyone can collect information through reading, through listening, through watching. We can collect information, but not everyone is a skilled one to connect their information logically, which is the information which is relevant from one to the other. So let's practice. It's been 30 minutes you were listening, and let's practice together. The connectors first. Information, we talked about language is information, and this information should be logically connected, and we are here now to practice what keywords, what phrases helps us to connect logically. Okay. Right, ready? This is not a test, it is a performance. Through your responses, everyone learn and understand better than randomly to read vocabulary and then you may happen to forget. Let's see how the polling goes. We use in addition to, add more arguments. See, I love this. You have the logical connections naturally, or finish the essay. In addition to 6, express our opinion. So now 3 of us and 1, 4 of us, 7. Okay. So in opinion essay, we will have an opportunity to use in addition to, add more argument. As you know, an opinion essay, it's a combination of your opinion and arguments. Discussions and arguments. So let me end this. Learn from. In addition to, which means add more argument. So now, four of us, we have learned, we use in addition to add more argument. I think that, in my opinion, I believe that, from my point of view, so these are frequently used phrases. You are in a situation to use it in opinion-based essays. So all these expressions mean different things. Two of these expressions mean the same. Three of these expressions mean the same. All of these expressions. I think that, in my opinion, I believe that, from my point of view. Let me check what is your understanding through the polling. All of these expressions mean the same. That is true. Mean different things. That's what two of us have come up. So these expressions, I can tell you, these expressions are helpful to write opinion-based essays. Okay. So my question is, what's your deeper basic understanding among the four? I think that, in my opinion, I believe that, from my point of view, what's your basic understanding? All of these expressions same, or all these expressions mean different things? Let's check what sounds appropriate in here. So I believe 6 of us, now we have learned all of these expressions mean the same. So for example, there is an introductory paragraph, and there is a second paragraph and third paragraph. So instead of repeating the same phrase, you can alternatively use this. In the first paragraph, you can use this. In the second, or finally, you can use this. Or in the beginning, you can use this. So which means all these expressions mean the same. Which of the following is not correct? Remember, not correct. First of all, in the first place, my reason is, because such keywords what we have learned from the model essay, therefore it is worth learning or recollecting or relearning all of it. So Okay, so many of us have a belief saying, my firstly reason is that. Let me end this. And four of us believe B in the first place. Which makes sense a little, but when it comes to writing, the language we speak and the language we write is not quite equal. The language we speak, we need not express precisely, more precisely to the point. But when it comes to writing, we should never assume the readers would be able to understand our intention. But in speaking, they can understand. But when it comes to writing, we have to express more precisely. To the point. Therefore, my firstly reason is, it's a kind of a spoken way. Therefore, C is not appropriate, because all the other three is a written style of language. This is a spoken style of language. Let me see, we are learning that more or less a key phrases, which is a correct way to state your opinion. In my opinion, I strongly believe that. I really feel that. So let's see. Oh my God. So what I'm happy about, there are more number of students who are already familiar and good with your language. You are familiar with a range of phrases, maybe what we call it collocational usage. You are familiar with. That's what I'm happy about it. 8 of us, and what makes 4 people came up with A, in my opinion, as simple as it is. But how about that? The other 2, are they relevant or irrelevant? I strongly believe. See the basic understanding. I really feel that. So, and 8 of us, what makes them to go with? They may have the basic understanding to address their opinion. These 3 are useful phrases to avoid repetition. Let me end and then see who gets a win. That's it. So the correct way to state your opinion, we have 3 ways. Maybe paragraph 1, in my opinion, paragraph 2, I strongly believe that, in paragraph 3, I really feel that. But all the 3 helps you to state your opinion. For instance, there is another frequently used word, is another way of saying, for example, how many of you agree with me, how many of you don't agree with me? False. For instance is another way of saying, for example. Okay, so I'm happy there is 1 candidate have come up, 2 have come up false, but 8 have a belief, have a strong belief. For instance is another way of saying, for example. Well, then, let's check who gets a win. Absolutely, 11 of us have made it right, but 3 of us we have learned. For instance, and for example, is the same. It's just another way of saying. Now, so these are some key phrases, what we call it the connectors, as we strongly believe language is nothing but information. Language is nothing but a range of information or a wide range of information on a relevant topic. But what should not be repeated? See, firstly, in other words, as a result, on the other hand, what's more, personally. So all these words never repeats, but what we have something in common, no information is repeated here. A range of information and range of vocabulary, therefore this is one good example of opinion essay. And there is certain thing, if you are able to analyze or evaluate what are the opinions and what are the arguments here, you have come up with too comfortable, access to luxuries, and 3 types of criminals, 3 verbs connected with crime and punishment, another word for prisoners, a word to describe a room in a prison, a word to describe people who steal from the shops. Can you identify answers for these questions in here? Maybe I will wait for you for 2 minutes. Wait for you maybe 3 minutes. I'll wait for you, and 3 minutes later I will share you the possible answers. You can check and compare. You don't have to share with me the answers you have come up with. So I'll wait for another 1 minute. I don't expect you to answer all the questions, but try your level best and then compare your answers with what I'm going to share with you. The purpose of this task is to help you understand vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation is not the language, but the information, the range of information you have, or the range of relevant information you have on a topic is what a language. That's what Cambridge is looking for, the examiners are looking for in your writing. To give you that understanding, we have this task. Well then, let's compare your answers. I have the answer key for the moral essay. Yes. Not sure why my computer is so slow. So there you go. I think we have been working with this. So 3 from murderers, rapists, shoplifters, violent criminals, and 2, 3 from punish, sentence, spend time behind bars, lock up. See, the situations are different. It's not about vocabulary, it's about information. Punishing is a different situation. Sentencing is another situation. Spending time behind bars is another situation. You see all this as information, not vocabulary. Lock up, commit, rehabilitate, re-offend, release, all these information, what we can understand here, all these information are not same but relevant information. It's not about range of vocabulary, it's not about range of vocabulary, but a range of information that is relevant. That's the secret. But Cambridge will not tell you this. Cambridge will tell you you have range of vocabulary in an essay, but that is not true. It's a kind of a business. You are the product. So I'm sorry. The IELTS is a product, and you are the consumer. Kind of doing advertisement or kind of a marketing to keep you unstable. Therefore, you will make your money investment again and again. That's the key thing. So how you see that matters. So what I see, if I am an examiner, what I see, what number of information, what number of relevant information you have got. Punish is an information, sentence information, spend time is an information, lock up, commit, rehabilitate, re-offend, release, all are relevant and range of information. In a word, they say it vocabulary to confuse you. Inmates, cell, shoplifters, or information, relevant information. So that's what. Now I think we can check with this. Too comfortable, needs to be tougher, many prisoners, not danger to society. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. Balance, that's a kind of a balancing opinion. Prison can help rehabilitate. So what an argument. It's a typical critical thinking. This is what they check. If you have more number of information, how logically you think and then write. So these are all critical thinking. Access to luxuries. Inmates have TV, computers, sports facilities. It's like a holiday camp. Shoplifters are not in the same league as murderers. Inmates can study, many never reoffend. So with this, we will stop here about, see, there are some suggested strategy, introduction, how to begin, state your opinion, two reasons to support your opinion, two reasons in the sense evidence, to opinion here, your claim, that's what a Toolman strategy, one argument for contrast, and the short conclusion. Right. Now, let's start working with the other elements that we need to understand the basics. It's my personal opinion. I could be wrong sometime, but as far as my understanding, relative clauses are used to specify what you are writing about. See, for example, people who run their own business face many challenges. The most important museums are free to enter in my country, which is a good idea because it allows everyone to have access to culture. Why do we need relative classes? When we have information to prove the examiner, I have information, but my information is relevant, therefore I can combine them together and present it to you. That's the key thing. So to help you with this, combining relevant information put together one, we need an element called relative classes. So relative classes helps you to see you have a one lengthy of information, which means you have combined two informations together with the help of a relative class, who, which, that, and so on. So it is the relationship that you show one information and another information have go hand in hand, go logically connected. Let me help you. See here, which is a good idea because it allows. See, by using a relative classes, instead of saying we met a woman, she owns a restaurant, there are these two information. It's better to say it as one long information. That's what I tried to help you to understand. Let me see how many of you can. Okay, so we need more responses. Thank you, Iris. I couldn't read. Tavia, Amanda, and Elisa. Okay. Helen. Dragon, Sesame, Sunny, Dragon again. See, for example, we met a woman who owns a restaurant. We met a woman who owns a restaurant. We met a woman which owns a restaurant. Okay, we met a woman and she owns a restaurant. Let's see which brings a logical connection with one single word. So, what we learn from here, when 7 students are helping us, this makes sense. We met a woman who owns a restaurant. Let me end this. Yes, who owns a restaurant. That makes sense. So now we have learned when we deal with a person, it's better to use who than which and whose. So remember, whenever there is a person, it always precedes who. Okay, I lost the map. Well, thank you, Iris, Sunny, Tabia, Tracy. Thank you. Ailsa, Amanda, very well. Dragon, Helen, Leonie, Vanessa, Nora, Selena. So Leonie have come up with an answer. I don't know. Let's check the polling what it goes. I lost the map that was given to me yesterday. Or lost the map whose was given. No, I lost the map who was given to me yesterday. I lost the map where was given to me yesterday. It's quite surprising. No, I don't mean it wrong. I mean it you are creative. Language should be used creatively. That's what you try to attempt. But what we can learn from 10 students, I lost the map that was given to me. So I can tell you these 10 students who came up with this, that because of their reading habit. Let's check with. Yes. So when you have a reading habit, you will naturally come up with an appropriate answer. When you don't read but you only learn grammar and vocabulary individually, then there is a possibility we commit mistakes. Okay, combine these sentences by using relative clause. Japan is a country, earthquake are very common there. See, what I have is two information. To convince an examiner, I have range of information and which is relevant so that I can connect one long sentence. Let me help you. Japan is a country which earthquakes are very common. Japan is a country where earthquakes are very common. Japan is a country that it's a country which, or okay, it's a quite tricky. There is a possibility we may go wrong sometime. Okay. Always Tracy and else. Well, allow me to end this. I can understand this to answer this question consumes a little extra time. Well then, see, Japan is a country where earthquakes are very common. Okay, when we deal with location from one place to another place, there is a possibility that brings you to use where. Where do you think you're going? So, dealing with locations, where sounds appropriate. Combine this sentence by using relative class. The man lives next door. He's very friendly. See, we have got two relevant information. Maybe information is small, so two small informations combined one long information. Or one lengthy sentence. So, why do we connect this? It's because the proximity between one sentence to another sentence is very close. Therefore, we are connecting it using a relative class. The man lives next door where he's very friendly. The man lives next door which is very friendly. Doesn't make sense. The man which lives the next door, he is very friendly. The man who lives the next door, he is very friendly. Okay, let me check. The man who lives. Now you have got the logic. Where do you think we keep who? Which lives the next door. It's a kind of a complex view here. Allow me to end this. We have so much to do, so much to experience it. Then listening. I hope now we have learned. The man who lives next door, because we're dealing with a person, so the man who lives next door makes sense. I think this could be quite easier. So this will help you understand better where to use who. Okay, let's end this and get to know about the man who was speaking to us. And now that's more than enough practicing relative classes, combining two information which is quite close enough to join or combine. Now what we have, the another common issue in opinion essays, not only with students, even the teachers or anybody, even native speakers of English who commit mistakes in the use of articles, English articles. There are only three, a and the. It's easy to understand where it is not required. When we have gone through this, only with a single noun, mostly with the plural nouns, but sometimes with the single and plural nouns. So these are kind of a formula how logically treat your information. I mean, it's a kind of a respect you give to your information. In my opinion, it's this. Your information needs a good reputation. These articles, appropriate articles, will help you to add reputation to your information. That's what it really matters. Many don't remember this. For example, when you talk about a noun for the first time, a movie. When you talk about a non-specific thing, a building, a sea, a president, a country, an office, so there are only two things, something what we call it basics. Use the both the single and plural nouns. When you use the noun, you mentioned before, I saw a movie yesterday. The movie was fantastic. See, the brings a good reputation to your information. The movie was fantastic. When you talk about something specific gallery, the National Gallery, so you are bringing reputation to this information. A specific university, this is University of Madras, where the city I live in, and a specific tower, the Eiffel Tower. I mean, you should be familiar with where the Eiffel Tower, because there is the only one, there is a good reputation, something very specific. The cardinal numbers, the first, the second, the superlatives, the best, the biggest. So you cannot leave this, which means the best, there is no alternative. The earth, the internet, only one in the world. See, there is no substitute for this. And with countries that have plural names, the UK, plural names, the United States, the Netherlands. So these are some basics we may be familiar, but there is an but what we are doing now is to refamiliarize, because we don't care about small things, but small things brings reputation. We shouldn't ignore them. Let me check how far are we able to use articles. So an examiner will see an article is used in a lengthy sentence or not. So it's a little bit of thinking required. What we have learned in the previous slide, and what we are checking now with this question. If you could think a bit critically, then A and N. All right, A and the and A. All right. See, this sounds interesting. Well, let me end this. Of the 28, we've got only 8. Hoping to have more responses. Well, Nora, Tracy, Ariel, Amanda, Vanessa, Dragon, Elsa, Dragon. Okay, Vicky, why don't you respond to us so that we will learn from one another? Well, then, we will better end this. So, why do you think there is no article here? If you could check previous slide, let me help you. So if you check carefully, countries that have plural names, the UK, the United States, the Netherlands, only carry an article. I don't remember, you may come up with the China, we don't, the India, we don't. Now let's move on to 16. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Well, thank you, Tabia, and okay, Selena, happy for you. Well, Dragon, Vanessa, Amanda, okay, Hillary, wow, interesting name. Sunny, Helen, Christine, Christina, Iris, and Leonie, Amanda, happy for you. Well then, allow me to end this because we are running out of time. We have to practice a few others as well. Okay. That's what people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Happy for you. I see. My intention is not to prove you wrong. My intention is to let you to think. I need my students to think constantly and then respond. That's the key purpose. What we have not discussed in slide, but what we are learning. I try to go. Okay, let's keep it for a short check. I try to go for a run 4 times a week. Okay. So the voting getting higher for option A, and I try to go for run 4 times a week. See, if you read them to yourself, something you will be able to bring sense to the sentence, because we have got the habit of reading every single day, so you know what makes sense. Your intuitive feeling tells you how the sentence sounds, good or bad. Okay, let me end this. Let's check how come 8 students have come up with the same answer. What should be the appropriate one? Yes, it is. Go for a run 4 times a week. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not my intention to prove you wrong, but to help you how articles, English articles are used in writing. I think you will understand better by doing than reading or than listening. So, since you're not writing, but the best part, you are capable of thinking constantly. That's as equivalent to writing. That's what we are trying to practice. Okay, let's see the voting. The people we met on holiday in the north of England came from the USA. That's what many have come up. People we met on the holiday in north of England. Remember, countries came from the USA. Well, now let's learn what makes when there is a two blanks we are able to make it. When there is a three we are. When it comes to more than three, is it confusing, or are we capable of using it properly? Allow me to end this. I'm sorry. That's it. The people we met on holiday in the north of England came from the USA. This sounds something simple because we tried something complex previously. Okay, so don't mistake me, it's time because this is one such a quick response expected. Yes, I've read a great idea. And now we have another element, what we can see with discussion essays, or kind of a combination of opinion and discussion essays. A good way to make your writing more academic and stylish is to use some noun phrases in your essays. Noun phrases give the reader more information about a noun. For example, the noun with the nouns phrases or the internet, you can make. Let's move to another thing. Okay, so this is where I thought of discussing with you. A complex noun phrases are a very important aspect of English grammar. Effectively using complex noun phrases makes your writing more academic and precise. So this is where I was talking about. Articles written by native speakers generally contain a lot of complex noun phrases. So studying these phrases will help you with reading comprehension as well. So what we have practiced, relative classes and noun phrases, that's another component which is quite often found with native speakers writing. Let's check. So what we have learned, language should be spoken or written phrase by phrase, which means an examiner is looking for information, not individual words. That's what we can understand. See, relative classes combining information and noun phrases. Oh my god. Choose the right adjective for this noun phrase. So in my opinion, one is inappropriate. So that's what. So let me end this. It's we have got only 10 minutes. See, one is appropriate, inappropriate, and all others, which brings a noun phrase. Because noun, it's all about. So I have included these others definitions. Which one is correct? My English teacher, who is a member of the English Society, teaches 9 lessons per cycle. My English teacher, a member of the English Society, teaches. See, which one sounds intuitively say they write phrase by phrase than words? Okay. See, I mean, what we talk about information, how the information combined, I mean, what makes them to combine? It's a kind of a relative classes and noun phrases put together that goes with. I believe most of you right. See. So the lesson is all about noun phrases. My English teacher is a noun phrase, like a pretty girl. A member of the English Society teaches another noun phrase. And this one is a relative class. My English teacher, who is a member of a baby girl laughed at. So I think this is quite easy because what I needed you to pick what brings us. Laughed at her sparkling toy. Okay. We are the language experts. I think we are the language experts. It's our job to beautify the language. I mean, language in the means beautify the information. For example, cinema is nothing reality. They exaggerate. That's what is cinema. Similarly, we language people, we exaggerate or beautify the information relevant and reasonable. That's what an examiner is looking for. Because when you watch a cinema, the fights and graphics and their performance, nothing is realistic. 99%. That's what we enjoy. Similarly, when we language people, when we write, an examiner should be able to enjoy only then your band score from 8 to 9 or beyond 7. That's to give you an understanding. I have come up with this. The baby girl laughed at her squeaking, sparkling toy. This, for example, an engineer or a computer science who work with machines may use this. The one who work with language, people, culture, and feelings, we will come up with. I mean, in my opinion, only a language people, language experts, are capable of using such expressions. What we call it, noun phrases. Yes. Right. So to promote this, how we should be different from the other majors. I mean, engineers, doctors, and whoever you think are not relevant or related to English. But one thing you should be familiar, IELTS examiner or language people. So your audience is language people. Language people needs language is beautified. So that's the key purpose that we are trying to help you understand. I hope many have come up with appropriate. Yes. Okay. The running girl stood patiently waiting for her. Right. But 10 of us. The young, beautiful girl stood passionately. Okay. Allow me to end this. I hope now you have understood what is the role of a language that we do. Like a cinema artist, an actor or a director or a fight stunt master, what they bring the industry something unrealistic. I mean, absolutely unrealistic, so that we enjoy spending time. Similarly, if you want your examiner enjoy your information to read, you have to beautify noun phrases. So nouns identify, I hope 100% we get let me check. Oh my god. Nouns identify people, places, things, and ideas, actions, or not. So, I think now you have learned all about what nouns help us to identify. Okay. Find the noun phrase. A large dog was waiting for me outside, so it could eat me. This sounds to let you to think critically a little bit. Okay. Okay. The noun phrase here was waiting. The large dog. A dog for me. So remember, nouns to identify people, places, things, ideas. Waiting is an action. Dog, okay, things. For me, it's a person, yes. But what we see, it's just a noun. But what we are looking for is a noun phrase. We are not seeking a noun, but a noun phrase. Remember, we talked about language people. Language people, their role is to express their information as beautiful as they can. Therefore, an examiner is a language guy. He wants to enjoy reading. When you see the things, your writing comes with a number of beautifying phrases. Allow me to end this. So, the large dog. The dog is a noun. A large dog is the noun phrase. I think we have reached an end. This could be the final question. Noun phrases act as a noun in a sentence. Is it true or false? Noun phrases act as a noun in a sentence. Okay. Yes. Noun phrases act as a noun in a sentence. That's what a native speaker for English, I mean Americans or British, they use noun phrase as just a noun. You report. So what we are doing, what we are promoting is an evidence-based communication practice. As long as you believe in evidence, you should be able to prepare or write well task 1 and task 2. To promote this, let me give you evidence that you have participated this week's lesson. So with this, I'll say goodbye, and there is one more thing I needed you to practice if you have enough time at home. So we have some exercises. If you could practice during your spare time, this will help you to collect information. These are some basics. Well, with this, I'll tell you uh, bye bye, and next week we will be working with agree and disagree essays. So, thanks for your participation. Bye for now.